Today, we're diving deep into a really powerful new law, one that's designed to fight organized crime in a whole new way. See, this isn't just about putting bad guys in jail. It's about taking apart the very empires they've built, piece by piece.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at who this law is actually targeting. Then we'll get into the brand new crimes it creates, the super tough penalties, its strategy to basically bankrupt these groups, and finally, how it shakes up the entire justice system.
All right, first up, what is this law exactly? And more importantly, who is it built to stop? It's all about getting very, very specific with the target. I mean, that's the big question, right? How do you actually take down a criminal empire? Well, that's what Brazil's Law 15358, which came into effect on March 24, 2026, is trying to answer. It's basically a new legal playbook for a new kind of enemy, one that acts less like a gang and more like a parallel government.
And to do that, the law creates this very specific legal label, the Ultra-Violent Criminal Organization, or OCU. Now, this isn't just any criminal group. We're talking about the big players, the ones that control whole neighborhoods, through pure fear and violence, essentially telling the state, this is our turf now.
Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Just look at the numbers here. Under the old law, to be a criminal organization, you needed at least 4 people. But for this new top-tier OCU designation, you only need 3. It sounds small, but it's a huge deal. It lowers the bar, making it way easier for prosecutors to charge these groups and hit them with the full force of this new law right from the jump.
Okay, so we know who the law is after. Next, let's look at the new weapon it gives prosecutors. Because this isn't about just relabeling old offenses. We're talking about a brand new crime that gets right to the core of what these factions actually do.
And this is it. This is the heart of the whole law. It's called the crime of structured social dominance. And wow, is this a big idea? It basically makes the entire business model of a criminal faction illegal. It's not just about prosecuting them for selling drugs or extortion. It's about prosecuting them for the act of taking over a community, creating their own rules, and ruling it with an iron fist.
This slide just lays it out so clearly. The old way was all about the process. You got in trouble for forming a gang or joining one. But the new law, it's all about the result. It punishes the group for actually succeeding, for achieving that social dominance through extreme violence. It's a massive shift from punishing someone for joining the club to punishing the club itself for taking over the whole neighborhood.
And this really shows you how seriously the law takes this. This crime isn't just seen as hurting individuals. It's treated as a direct assault on the very pillars of society itself: public peace, safety, the way our institutions work, and even the sovereignty of the entire country.
So with a crime this big, you can bet the punishment is going to be just as massive. And it is. This part of the law is all about closing every possible loophole.
And they are not kidding around. For anyone convicted of this core crime, the system is basically designed to forget you exist. The message couldn't be clearer. If you're found guilty of structured social dominance, the door to freedom is locked, and they've thrown away the key.
The law literally goes down a checklist and slams the door shut on 5 major ways an inmate could get out early. No grace, no pardon, no amnesty, no bail, and no conditional release. All those legal safety valves, for this crime, they're gone. And it gets even tougher. The law punishes you just for planning to do this, so there's no lighter attempted charge. It also cuts off prison aid to an inmate's family, which is a really controversial part for sure. Plus, the leaders, the commanders, they go straight to federal maximum security prisons. And maybe most importantly, every single crime the OCQ commits gets its own separate punishment. There's no volume discount here. You pay for everything.
Okay, prison is one thing, but we all know that to truly bring down an empire, you have to follow the money. This law aims to cut off their lifeblood, because a criminal organization with no cash is, well, it's not an organization for very long.
The whole strategy has a fancy name, dispatrimonialization, but it really just means financial strangulation. The philosophy is super simple, and it comes right out of economics. If you can't make a profit, you'll get out of the business. The goal is to make being a faction boss the worst career move you could possibly make.
To do this, the law gives authorities a powerful 4-step toolkit. Step 1, they can freeze assets fast, right at the start of an investigation. Step 2, once there's clear evidence, they can seize those assets.
Step 3, they have a special super-powered confiscation tool just for these cases. And Step 4, they can file a separate civil lawsuit to chase down criminal money that never expires. There's literally no place to hide the cash.
And check this out. To get people on the inside to talk, the law offers a pretty sweet incentive. If you're a whistleblower and your info leads to assets being seized and sold off, you get a 5% cut. It's a clever way to turn the greed of the organization against itself.
Okay, last piece of the puzzle. To actually use all these new powers, you need to change the rules of the game. So the law also fundamentally reshapes how the justice system itself works when it comes to these cases.
First off, everyone knows these investigations are incredibly complex, right? So the law gives police way more time. If a suspect is already in jail, they can get up to 180 days. But if the suspect is still out there, the investigation can go on for up to 540 days. That's a year and a half to build a rock-solid, airtight case.
The changes go right into the courtroom, too. To protect judges from threats and intimidation, which is a huge problem, these cases have to be heard by a panel of judges, not just one person. The decision comes from the group, which creates a kind of anonymity. Now, you also have to ask what that means for accountability. And on top of that, all the initial custody hearings will now be done by video conference. It's safer, it's more efficient, but it also really changes the dynamic of that first court appearance.
So when you put it all together, the Antifaction Law is this massive, monumental shift in strategy. It redefines the enemy, creates a new kind of crime, brings down punishments that have no escape hatch, and completely rewires parts of the justice system. The big question it leaves us with is this. Is this incredibly powerful new arsenal the perfect weapon for this fight, or does it create a whole new set of risks for the very system it's supposed to protect?